aspect of the repertoire of approaches to dementia care. And in modern dementia care, reminiscence has become a very important way of supporting memory. And it's built on the notion that if we engage people in activities or conversation to evoke memory, that reinforces it and keeps it there for longer. And it's using a very basic insight about memory, which is you use it or you lose it. And reminiscence is a way to create opportunities for well-being for people using the life histories that we were talking about earlier today within the context of that enriched model of dementia. So the reminiscence therapy approach to life is an important one for the therapeutic effects that reminiscence has for people with dementia. And it doesn't have to be a whole, a reminiscence therapy, as you discovered with validation. It can often be incorporated into the way you do things and the way you interact with the residents that you care for. So the use of life histories, written or oral, or both, to improve psychological well-being. This therapy is often used with older people, and that's from the American Psychological Association back in 2006. So this is a well-respected, well-regarded approach to stimulating and supporting memory. Our own life narrative is an important part of our sense of identity. So reminiscence therapy is essentially designed to support our narrative and therefore support our sense of identity. It involves, quite simply, the re-experiencing and stimulation of previous life events. And that might be in a very pleasant way, or it might in fact be evoking events and then supporting the person to deal with the emotional experiences associated with those memories. Because as we saw yesterday when we were looking at the geography of the brain, the emotional centres of the brain in the amygdala and the hippocampus and the rest of that limbic system are very close to the memory areas of the hippocampus. So memory and emotion go hand in hand. So once you stimulate memory, you'll stimulate feeling as well. It does promote a sense of continuity of self. And if you think about some of the reminiscence experiences that you've had with the people in your care, it's about maintaining a sense of continuity with the past, so that the person can have a sense of who is the I when they say, I want to do something. They have a sense of the continuity of connectedness with past experience. And it works well against this disengagement that people with dementia will experience if they are not stimulated to engage in activity or narrative about themselves, talking or thinking about their own lives. Very easy to become disengaged. Has an improvement on mood and cognition, and this is important for us because sometimes even the experience of remembering unpleasant experiences can be therapeutic for us, simply because it puts us back in touch with what's real and true about ourselves. And once the person activates those memories, there's a sense of wholeness that comes, or a sense of solidity that they actually know who they are, and that improves mood and cognition as part of the experience. The important element of it is that it needs to be sustained. Just doing it one-off is not going to have a real ongoing effect. So we need to continually engage people about their life stories. Can you think of a moment in your work career where you have engaged somebody in a reminiscence experience?
Yeah, just recently with one of our new residents. He isolates himself in his room. So I was just talking to him last week, just trying to get to know him, and we chatted about his career and his family, and when he came to Australia and what it was like when he came to Australia, and yeah, it was. I've probably spent 10 minutes there. I'm trying to get out the door but he just sort of kept on going, Yeah, so it was good.
We the other day had fresh cook, like when the management cooks for all the elders, and all the elders are coming out and tables are set, and then the care staff on the floor, we eat with the elders, so everybody basically stops and then eats. So we have a new resident who is the type of resident, when you go in to bring your medication, you warn your other staff member to fake call you. You know, because, or when because I work in the office as well, when she comes to the office, she'll like, go, because when she comes to you, you can't walk away, you can't. And this lady keeps on talking and talking, complains basically all the time. So here we are, all the tables are set, and there was one place open for me to sit, and that was next to this lady, and I thought, oh God, here we go. So I sat next to her, and I actually really enjoyed my meal because I finally got a chance to talk to her because she was not complaining. So she was telling me about her life, and her life is actually quite interesting. And I have a completely different view to this one. I would still warn somebody before I come. Otherwise, but that was lovely. And I got to know her, which was nice, yeah. And I think she enjoyed it too.
So it has an interesting effect on us, doesn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
When we get to know the person, they come alive, and it's much more stimulating and interesting for us.
Yeah.
Very good.
We have a new man, and we don't really know much about him yet. And we were just sitting with him, just talking about fishing or something random, and then he just switched to like an emotional place. He started talking about his kids, that he worked too much in life and he didn't spend enough time with them, and he should have, and he started crying, and you just sit there and listen to what he's saying, try and reassure him that they visit you every day, they really do still love you, like you did what you had to do to provide. But it was just very, if you see him, he does seem like just a prim and proper guy's guy, but then the minute you sit down with him and actually just start talking about things, like he'll open up emotionally, and it was a very interesting experience. It was very unexpected.
Very unexpected, yeah. And interesting, isn't it, that so long as you are prepared to interrupt your agenda, then you can support that, and you can stay with him, and it becomes a completed experience. But otherwise, if you were to keep going with your agenda, it would get cut off, wouldn't it? Yeah. So that's great, isn't it? That you're able to have the presence of mind to say, no, I need to put aside what I was doing and just stay here for a few minutes.
I think sometimes we have to just talk it out and let him just finish, and then when he feels like stopping, he'll stop and then go, oh, the four-wheel drive or something, rather than if you cut them off. Because I think sometimes if we cut people off, they haven't fully just poured out that emotion, and then it might build again and transform into wandering, trying to leave now, trying to express that feeling in a different way, rather than just talking about it like they would have wanted to.
In our facility too, we have a resident. She's much settled now, but when she came, she found it really difficult to adjust. So she had all these behaviors, like she would take a nappy which is full of poo and just throw it on stuff, just when they are attending to her. So I remember one of the days I went in there and started talking to her like about her past. She's from Poland. And I was asking her, what is it that you really enjoy doing in your life? And I found out that she was a very active lady, and she would help the community so much. She was involved in a church and deeply involved, like she would go for prayers, and so we started sharing about that, and we found that we had something in common. So after talking to her, she said, I would really love to go to church. But then the family, they are not able to take her to go to church. So like I said to her, we do have a priest who comes here like once in a fortnight to visit, so you can also go to the services. But then she wanted someone to pray with her. So I said to her, if you don't mind, we can pray together. So anyway, we just said a prayer with her. And after that, she got so much connected to me. Like sometimes she'll refuse medications. But then they say, oh, Viva is coming in the afternoon, she'll try to give her. If I go there, she'll take it. She'll definitely take it. And sometimes I'll sit with her and explain to say, you know, you need to have your tablets, it's very important. Then she'll promise, I promise I'll take them. And she will take them in the following days. So she's really much connected now to me, so much. When we've got some behavior problems that resurface here and there. But when I go to talk to her, she will be fine. So, but that started from reminiscing with her and discovering who she is.
It's interesting, isn't it, that by engaging the person about themselves in an act of reminiscing about themselves, it actually cements the bond between us.
Yes, it does.
It improves or enhances the relationship we have. So that is going to benefit them, but also it has a spin-off effect, which is like a side effect for improving the likelihood that we will get our care work done, the medication. But ultimately it's about the benefit to the resident. That's our direct goal. Yeah, that's great. Any times you've reminisced with your residents?
Yeah, well, I had a resident like, he has dementia, but then his like mobility and everything else are quite good. But then in an aged care, you know, he couldn't find any other resident with the same cognitive level with him. So it's really hard for him to, you know, to communicate with other residents as well. So, and we, you know, like we're usually busy, so I know it's an old excuse, but then on one day I tried to, like after lunchtime I tried to spend like 10 minutes talking to him. After that, every day, he's sitting for us.
He's looking for you.
Yeah, like he knows where I am exactly, looking at the window, and then he knows that I'm usually busy, but then he just hang around, you know, like, so, and then I have to open the door, say to that, hey, how are you going, mate, blah, 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 how your day's going, and then that satisfies him. That's it. Yeah.
So it has a good effect, connecting with him.
Yeah, but then, well, I think for those like him, we do need more, you know, activities that fit, you know, his cognitive level, so that he can participate more.
Okay.
Yeah, and be more enjoyed when he's
Good. Okay, thanks.
Yeah, I have a resident. She suffered from severe dementia back a few years ago, and she used to call me all the time, really disturbing. And she was a cactus in the corner. And so I used to do PM shift. At about 8 o'clock, I usually went there to give medication with steroid. And but sometimes she's still calling after steroid is not going to help. She's going to call the whole night, no stopping sometimes. It's just really, really noisy. And residents around the complain, and family is really desperate. They're really depressed for that as well. And husband know what she likes, and for the music she likes to have classic and Italian songs. I mean, I can't stand songs in Italian or sometimes even English. I don't know how the words in, and then so I just start to sing the song in Italian. But I know how to sing in Chinese, so I just did it. She calmed down really well. After she's better, she always can have sleep at night, so it's really interesting.
Oh, very good. Okay. It's another way to do it.
Yeah.
Okay. When would you use reminiscence, do you think? When would be a good opportunity or reason for you to use a reminiscence approach?
If someone's really agitated, emotional, and yeah, if you've got time to sit down even for 5 minutes and say, look, tell me about your family. Do you have children?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it works, other times it doesn't. They're not interested.
Yeah. So it's got to make sense.
Yeah.
So you can't just use it sort of artificially as a substitute for or something you do all the time. So you're not going to
I
use it.
think you can do it just in normal conversation, like I remember and a resident, and she had some beautiful photos that the family brought in on the wall. So I, in conversation, just said to her, "Tell me about that photograph that you got up on the wall." She was all dressed up beautifully, and hat and beautiful dress and everything. She said, "That's the photo that was taken when she first got off the boat to come to Australia." So she told me all about what happened, and that she came out first with the children, and the husband came out, and we started getting all this lovely history of what happened. So yeah.
Okay, good. Anybody else? When would you use it?
I think it's when they're unsettled and emotionally drained, like, you know, anxious. Just sit with them, talk to them, try to empathize with their feelings.
Okay.
And when they're really restless as well, I have one resident who wants to go downstairs all the time. He is quite strong, mobility and stuff, but he got dementia and disoriented as well, and you cannot easily redirect him as well. So what I used to do, like when we have like dinner time, call him and ask him to like serve the, like, you know, tray or like serviette or something, and collect the dishes. Then it makes him like really busy, and he forget about going down and those sort of things. And just whenever I'm wheeling my trolley, I call him and just talking to him like about something, and then it makes him more busy, and he forget about those going towards the lift and going down. So I think those situations is dependent on what does it work for whom. Like, you know, it's individualized. We can't use same aspect for all of the people there.
Right. So it's something that needs to be tailored to the particular individual.
Yeah, indeed. So like, and we have like one resident who wander all the time and intrusive and those sort of things, but she loves the music. So if you give her iPad and put the music on, or like, you know, just put the music on in the lounge room, then she settle down there. So it's all individualized, and like, you know, different things work for different people.
Yeah, that sounds great.
But the most important thing is you have to recognize what is making them like unsettled. And what is the reason?
That's right, and that comes back to what we were talking about earlier, about identifying the need. What's the underlying need that's driving this behaviour?
And what makes them settle as well.
Yeah, good. Okay. Terrific. Good. You'll get an opportunity to think about some of your residents in terms of reminiscence and how you might use it when we come to the assessments. We'll ask you to think about that. Okay. And think about it in terms of these benefits here. So you might like to come back to that slide when it comes to the assessment time. But also it might be opportune for you to contact your lifestyle staff and talk with them about how they use reminiscence in their work. Because sometimes the lifestyle staff have quite a structured or group way to engage with the residents in terms of reminiscence. They can set things up in a fairly structured way. So have a chat to them and talk with them about how they do that. That will give you a good opportunity to find out other ways of doing it in the facility.